This is going to be my opinion on something, and nothing more than that. I try to avoid opinion in doing these because opinion is so thin and insubstantial, like a soap bubble, almost weightless. It rises and gains some attention perhaps, but soon pops, destroyed by its own fragility. In sports, there is the classic observation about people who stayed around too long. There are some, very few, who seem to cheat time and perform at a high level long after that seems a possibility. But there are far more instances of those who stick around and embarrass themselves by tarnishing an entire career. In baseball, Willie Mays comes immediately to mind. A consummate player who was worth the price of admission by himself. A real pleasure it was to watch him hit, field, and run, but he did not know when to get out. So there remains the picture of him prone in the dirt after having fallen while attempting to run the bases and being tagged out, looking like a pathetic old man caught trying to play a young man's game. I remember seeing that and looking away as if that might erase what I had seen, so I would not have to remember him that way. Boxing is full of great fighters who could not walk away while they were on top, who refused to acknowledge that it was time to go, and they fought again and again, and for their pains they had to endure not a fight but a beating, blows they could not dodge or return, bearing at the end only personal suffering and diminished pride. It was painful to witness what was in effect their demise, knowing as early as the second round that they didn't stand a chance of getting anything but a bad whipping. And I think, and here comes that fluff of opinion, that what is so convincingly demonstrated in sports is also true in life. To everything there is a season, and in life there is a time, which varies for everyone, to leave, perhaps somewhat gracefully. I believe that is true. We live in generational cycles. We have our time and then we pass it on to our descendants. But medicine has evolved to the point where it is not only possible to live quite easily into our 80s and 90s, but now it seems also well beyond 100. What used to be rare, survival to that age, is now commonplace. And I am not so sure that this is, in all cases, a good thing. Many are alive, but their capacities, both physical and mental, are so restricted that it is reasonable to question what we call the quality of life. Does it ever cease to be worth living, even if we remain alive? Is it good, I am asking, to endure beyond the point of endurance? Are people kept alive past the time they desire to be alive, when they continue mostly out of habit, and because death has been forestalled? The same force is at work on military battlefields. Medicine has become so incisive that it can repair wounds which would surely have been fatal several years or several wars ago. And the survivors, what do they think of this? I'm sure the answer would differ from case to case, but still, I'm thinking of a person who has suffered severe and irreparable trauma to the brain, or who is completely paralyzed, or who has lost any number of limbs, someone who is like Dalton Trumbo's Johnny. There may be only a consciousness left, and even that may be partially compromised. Is it an absolute good that we are able to keep these people alive? Or is it possible that we have an increasing number of people who would be better off dead? I'm not sure of the answer, and I know it's not my call. I'm no Dr. Kevorkian, but I am somewhat surprised and disturbed to be even asking the question. We have a huge number of people who will soon be elderly. Is it merciful to keep them alive or to allow them to die? Will individuals be permitted to make that decision for themselves, or will there be a law that covers all?